Hey guys, it's Kara from iStampin.com. Thanks for joining me today. Today we're going to be making this really cute little 1x4 box, making our own pattern paper. I thought that would be fun then instead of using some designer series paper. So what you're going to want to start off with is your Stampin' Trimmer and get out a piece of Tip Top Taupe and Whisper White cardstock, and you will cut each piece. You'll cut each piece 6 by 6. So just get that on your trimmer and just cut it down. And then on the Tip Top Taupe cardstock, you will score all 4 corners at 1 inch. So using the Stampin' Trimmer, if you use the lighter shade blade, that's the scoring blade. The darker blade obviously is the blade to cut the paper, so just slide that lighter shade blade a few times up and down at the 1 inch mark, and that will score all 4 sides. And then you will just take your bone folder and just burnish all of those edges. And it's really easy when you use the Stampin' Trimmer because it's all, you're just using one tool. Okay, and then you will do the same thing with the Whisper White cardstock. You will cut this 6 by 6, but when you score it, it's going to be a different measurement than the Tip Top Taupe cardstock. And you'll want to save this piece right here that you're cutting off because we're going to use that a little bit later for our stamping. So I just moved it to the 15/16 mark, and you will score on all 4 sides there using the scoring blade. And this just allows the box to, or this is actually going to be the lid of the box, and this allows the lid to fit over the bottom of the box. Okay, so we're done with the Stampin' Trimmer, and like I said, go ahead and grab your bone folder. Oh, okay, excuse me. We're going to put little notches on the sides of the Whisper White cardstock. So you're just going to take your little 3/4 inch circle punch and just slide the cardstock, maybe just 1/4 of an inch in there, and just punch it on 2 sides. That's going to be the little thumb hole notches, which will allow you to take the lid off a little bit easier. So try to line it up as best as possible and just punch those. And now what I'm doing is just folding on all those score marks and then just burnishing it with my bone folder. So you'll just do this for the Tip Top Taupe cardstock as well. And I wanted to burnish the edges before I stamp. That's just the way I did it. If you want to do it afterwards, you can. But you want to make sure that you're getting really crisp and crisp sides, because this is what, this is the lid of the box. So you really want to make sure that you're doing a good job. All right, so I've done that with the Tip Top Taupe. Now what you're going to want to do is take your scissors, and on just 2 sides, you're going to cut up to that 1 inch score mark. And so you'll cut both sides, and then you're going to notch on the inside of each of those little slits. So you see here that I'm doing that, and this just allows the box to fit together a little bit nicer. So on all the squares that you cut, just notch just a little bit of the cardstock off. Just angle your scissors, and that really helps putting the box together. And then what you're going to want to do is just grab your favorite adhesive. You could use Fast Fuse, tear and tape. I prefer tear and tape. That's what I'm going to be using to put the bottom of the box together. What you'll want to do is just put 2 strips of tape on all 4 corners. And putting it at the top and the bottom, that just ensures that the box will stay together really well. And then what I like to do is just take a bone folder and just burnish one edge of the tape, and that just makes it a lot easier to peel the backing strip off with a pair of scissors or paper piercer, whatever I have. And then just take the inside flap and just match it up together, and that's how you're going to create the walls of the box. So just do that on all 4 sides. And sometimes when you're cutting those score lines, you're not cutting directly on them, so you may have one side that's a little bit higher that's sticking out. And here I'll show you in just a second what I mean. But just take your scissors and just trim off that excess, and you'll never know. So you see right there how I probably didn't cut right on that score mark. So I'm just taking my scissors and just trimming off the part that's sticking up. And then I just kind of take my fingers and just make sure that all the edges are at a 90-degree angle. All right, so let's start stamping. I'm using the Oh So Succulent stamp set, and these are the 4 colors that I've chosen, which is Old Olive, Sweet Sugarplum, Tip Top Taupe, and Calypso Coral. I'm going to be starting off with Sweet Sugarplum, and when you are wanting to create your own pattern paper, you always want to start off with the largest image first. So I've got my grid paper and my Stampin' Pierce mat, and I'm starting off with the solid image of the largest flower, and I'm stamping off once. So the solid image is just going to be a shade lighter. And when I do this in a staggered pattern. That kind of helps me keep the pattern somewhat uniform. So you just stamp off each time and then just come in and just, just start off in the center with your image and then just work from the top to the bottom or however you like. But just, doing it in a staggered pattern makes it really easy to keep everything lined up. And you'll just do that over the entire piece of Whisper White cardstock. And you'll see here that I'll show you the finished product in just a minute. There you go. So I'm just finishing off right there. And you can see that I didn't stamp every image perfectly, which is quite all right. I was fine with that. So now I'm coming back with the outline image, and I'm not stamping off. So this is full strength Sweet Sugarplum. And I'm trying my best to line up, but to be quite honest, I'm really not too concerned. I mean, some of them are really off, but that's okay. I don't mind that. It kind of gives it a more whimsical look, and it doesn't bother me. Okay, so I'm showing you the next images. Those are some little succulents, and I'm going to do that in Old Olive, starting off with the solid image again first, stamping off. And here you just kind of come in and just fill in the gaps where all that white space is. There really was no pattern to it. I just kind of, just randomly just stamped wherever I wanted to. So now I'm coming back with the outline of the succulent image, and again stamping that full strength in Old Olive. And this stamp was a little bit easier to line up, but again, I wasn't being super precise. So now I'm using this small flower, and I'm doing that in Calypso Coral. And this one I'm just stamping straight on with full strength. I'm not stamping off. And again, if my stamping isn't precise, it's not bothering me. It doesn't matter, because this is going to be a box. We're going to be folding over the sides. We're going to be covering it up with some ribbon. So, I think it gives it character. And now just to fill in all those little empty spots, I'm coming in with that little cluster of flowers and using Tip Top Taupe. Now for this, I am stamping off because I want this to be really light. And so you'll just kind of have fun with this. Just go in and just stamp wherever. You really can't go crazy with it, or you can't really stamp too much. So you see how I've just kind of filled in all of those spaces, and I keep going back and seeing. And even there I stamped over some of the same images, and it doesn't bother me. So we're going to do the exact same thing as we did with the bottom. We're going to cut 2 sides of the score marks up to that score line, and again notching the inside corners or the inside edge. So you want to do that on both sides, and then we'll put it together with the tear and tape adhesive again. So just putting the adhesive on the top and the bottom like we did with the bottom part of the box. So just peel that off, and then very gently, or I don't know if gently is the right word, but just take your time with this, because you want the lid of the box to be really nice. You don't want to be fast and quick with this and it to look sloppy. So just make sure you've got those edges meeting up as straight on as you can. And then like I did with the bottom box, I'm just just forming the box to get nice straight corners with my fingers. And then the top of the box just fits perfectly on the bottom. And you'll see how that those little thumb notches come in really handy for the lid. And you can fit a really nice gift in there. All right, so this is the scrap of paper that I told you to keep. I'm using the Sending Thoughts stamp set. You can find this in our Occasions catalog. And I'm using Tip Top Taupe to stamp the sentiment that says, I'm here for you. I'm also going to use the stitched shape framelits and the layering oval framelits to cut this out. I'm using the stitched shape framelits for the sentiment, and I'm using the beautiful glimmer paper that's one of the new Sale-a-bration selections. I'm using the Sweet Sugarplum for that, so you can see how pretty that looks. So I'm just going to use tear and tape adhesive to adhere those together. I find this really works well. The one thing I like about it is that it sticks perfectly, but if you don't press down too hard, you're able to adjust. So I didn't necessarily get the oval on perfectly the first time, but I was able to move it around. So now I'm just trying to figure out which way I want the box to be, and I'm using the Tip Top Taupe 5/8 inch mini striped ribbon. Cut about 25 inches of ribbon. That should give you enough to tie a really pretty bow. And I did this I actually did this wrong the first time. You see that I've tied the bow, but then I realized that I should have put the tag on first before tying the bow. So I'm using my 1/16 handheld circle punch just to punch a small hole in there, and then I'm getting out my Whisper White baker's twine. So just cut off one of the segments, wherever the bend is in the baker's twine. That should be enough for you to thread through that hole. So you see here that I've untied the bow, and before I start tying the bow, I'm tying the tag onto the ribbon. This is the best way I find for the tag to kind of dangle, to have the look that I want. So just tie a knot, but don't tie it too tight because you want that tag to be able to dangle. So now go ahead and tie your ribbon. And I didn't do as a nice job as I did the first time, but I eventually get it. So just work with it. This is a really nice ribbon, nice quality, so you should get nice results with it. If you haven't used this product yet, you'll really like it. And as a reminder, with that glimmer paper, I had mentioned that it's a Sale-a-bration item. We're in the final month, guys. It's March 1st. I can't believe it. So Sale-a-bration will be ending at the end of this month. So if there's some items that you haven't gotten yet, you've just got 31 more days, 30 days. But as a reminder, for every $50 that you spend before tax and shipping, you're able to choose a free item from the Sale-a-bration catalog. So there I just trimmed off the edges, gave the edges of the ribbon a clean cut. And that's it. I hope you liked it. I had the best time making that paper. Sometimes it's fun just to get out all those stamps and just play around. So if you have any questions about the products used, just let me know. Give it a thumbs up if you liked the project and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Bye, guys.